Well, hello. Have you come to fix the plumbing? You came to talk about knives. Well, you come to the right place, boys. Because we're going to talk about some knives. Okay, paso YouTube, ARCHMAN here. I'm gonna move you a little closer. So we are gonna talk today about the Hogue EX-01. So I guess there's a lot of reviews about this knife. This one kind of slipped through the cracks for me in a lot of ways, and yeah, decided to pick one up just because it seemed like a good idea. Nice design. Nice looking knife. The button lock seems like a cool thing to check out, and so forth. So I picked this up from Blade HQ, and they were fantastic as always to deal with. And yeah, I've been carrying this here knife, just to let you know, just for you, YouTube, for 27 days. Alright? And yeah, so basically because I wanted to do a decent knife review for you guys. I actually even made some notes for this Shizen. See here? God darn it. I'm going to try not to go directly off of them, though, because I might make it shitty. Anyhow, out of the box, this here knife, first impression, it was excellent machining. Nice weight, not too light, not too heavy. Unfortunately, a glaring aspect of when I first got this here knife was that it's got the option for this thing doesn't zoom in, I don't think, tip up or tip down carry, and the tip up carry option, it actually comes in tip down carry option, and these little brass receivers in this side really were crappy looking, unfortunately. And I mean, this is a $170 knife, so there's something, I don't know. Anyhow, that's an expensive knife, for god darn sake, and that really looked kind of crappy. But overall, excellent machining. The button lock is really smooth, really cool. The clip is kind of a honking ass clip. That was definitely, I mean, you see pictures of it and whatnot, but it feels a little unnecessarily honking, to me. First impression, G-Mascus looks really nice, a little bit better than the pictures. I know they vary from knife to knife, but the G-Mascus was, I thought is really well done. The most overwhelming first impression that I got with this here knife, this Hogue EX-01, is that it didn't seem very comfortable at all. I mean, I just was like, what in God's name? Like, whose hand is this for? I got a lot of knives that have like a finger groove or a choil in them. Some work really well, some don't work so well. But most of them seem to work pretty well. And this one, just, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be more of like a relief so you can get your finger behind the thumb lug, or if it's supposed to be more of a finger choil. It does really well at being a little relief for the thumb lug, but in my opinion, not so great at being a finger choil. It's small, it really is small, and it shouldn't be so far away from the cutting edge here. I find that sometimes you want to get your finger close to the cutting edge, and this, I don't know. Anyhow, first impressions, boys. All right. But after having carried this here knife for 27 days, I got a couple more impressions, boys. So, pros. All right. Pros on this knife, the knife looks good. The knife feels high quality, Everything about it, the sounds it makes when you open and close it, it feels high quality. All right. the lock and bolster plates and all that going on is super cool. I really like the whole idea and strength looking of the lock and bolster plates. Not stoked on the little spring in there, but hey, what are you going to do? What you going to do? Nicely ground blade. Excellent detent design. The detent is actually really cool, the way it's worked into the button lock. And there's other videos that show this shit, but yeah, you can see where it kind of fits into that. But decent logoing and all that. 154 cm, we'll talk about that for a minute. I think 154 cm is an excellent blade steel, and this is no exception. All right, the edge came really sharp, and it stayed really sharp. I cut all kinds of shit with this here knife in the last 27 days, and I have not sharpened this knife, which is pretty cool. And it's still sharp as hell. But let's not forget, ATS-34, as far as I know, is the original super steel. 154 cm is the American flavor of ATS-34. We said, no more Japan, boys. We don't need that shit. We're going to steal it, or we're not going to copy it. We're going to copy it, make our own. We call it 154 cm. No, yeah, 154 cm. All right? So, yeah, it's a great steel. It really is. Cons, I think the handle is very uncomfortable. I still do. You know, honestly, when I got the knife, I didn't really realize how crisp the machining was on it, and that had a lot to do with it. So I tell you what, I took my titanium spork, which I thought was a pretty good idea, a little tool. And I took my titanium spork and I rubbed it on all the little edges and bevels and edges on this here knife. And it just barely, you know, just enough to knock that edge on. And what I did was, sorry about that, made the knife considerably more comfortable. Now I can go, you know, it might work for a much smaller hand than me. But still, there's things I'd like out of the knife. Actual real-world use, the knife actually works really well. Sitting here holding the knife, it's very uncomfortable. But actually going out and using the knife, you find that you manipulate your hand to kind of work with the design. And it's not terrible, all right? I'm not going to say it's just a flat-out con and it sucks. One thing that I don't really like about it is if you see those 3 screws right there, boys, those handle screws are screwed directly into the G10 on the opposite side. There is no kind of female pin or nut metal thing in there receiving those screws at all. And that's kind of an eyebrow raiser to me. I think I like that. Raise my eyebrow just like that, boys. Over to that G10 shite. I don't know. That's a theory. Okay? It might be awesome. But I've just never seen that before. Usually they screw it into some metal on the other side. Strong. Yeah, so let's see, uncomfortable handle. Con. Screws screwed into G10, con. You know, honestly, the knife is super cool. And I do think it's a strong knife. You know, hopefully, most of your use with a knife is going to be, you know, pressing down, straight down on the blade. Not any kind of like prying and shit like that. So, that would be the only thing I would think would botch these screws, is like this type of force. I don't think this type of force is going to really do much to it. But anyhow, yeah, I mean, it's a really nice knife. Does it fit between the knives that I think it's actually aiming for, like the Spyderco military and the I'm no military right now, and the SNG? You know, I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of priced in a strange place, and only time will tell if it's a $170 knife or not. Palabra to Madre, boys and girls. Don't let your meatloaf. Questions, comments, concerns, and smart remarks, post that shit below. Hasta la baby vista.